sign the flag and we'll take care of it. Give it to your title company. You don't have to sit back and everything like that. Yeah, you don't have to go to the county. Works good.
This guy, and I don't understand Stephen Blake, but
all right, good morning, everybody. I'm sure everybody knows who I am. I'm Stephen, your 2021 president. I'm glad everybody's here for the Breakfast of Champions. Today, we have one of our local champions, Mark Frankenberg with BFA, going to talk to us about surveys and other stuff. I'm sure a story or two may come out, so we're happy to have you. Mark, you want to kick it off?
Good morning, everybody. Mark Frankenberg with BFA. Steve said, I got you a packet here. Kind of a lot of questions we get asked. Let's look at the work order. Okay, this is a pretty basic work order. People want to know what's the difference between how the Alta survey, of course, that's the highest one you get. We'll look at your title policy, we'll comment on it, and if you pull out the Alta survey on the right hand side, this is a typical Alta survey. Alta surveys are usually only done on commercial properties. And what it is, if you look over on the right hand side in the middle of the page, we take the title policy and we will comment on everything on that title policy that affects that property. In other words, if there's an easement, if there's a restriction, if there's anything that's noted on the schedule B2s of your title policy, we will comment on it. Okay. And when we do that, if we say it affects or it doesn't affect, that triggers the title company to take it off if it doesn't affect. So in essence, we are taking the responsibility for that easement being removed. So if it does affect later on, we find out what was wrong, we have to pay out, basically. So this is more expensive, of course, but there's more work. And it's really not needed on any residential properties. So, but that is an example of that. It shows everything. I mean, we do the full topo. Plat of survey will show almost everything, but we actually show the easements. Right now, the state only requires on plats of surveys, which is the property boundary survey, the second one on here. They only require us to show platted easements. A platted easement is something that shows up on a subdivision plat or another survey. That's the only thing we have to show. We don't have to address the B2s at all. Your Alta survey. And then your next one will be the plat of survey or boundary survey with improvements. Realtors call this a state survey. And I'm assuming the state survey means the property corners are going to be set, which on this particular survey, yes, we have to set the property corners. We have to locate all the improvements on the property and 5 foot around it to see if there's any encroachments. And then we have to show the encroachments. I think on this one, we do show an encroachment up on the upper right, the fence over the line. And sometimes we'll even put an encroachment table on it. Okay. So then the title company can just look at it and say, here, here's the encroachments. What that does, that triggers them to then put that on up to B2s. It says we are not insuring for that fence. We're not insuring for the utility poles in the back. There's no easements. So what that does then is the title company doesn't take responsibility for it, and the owner then knows that this is an encroachment. They might have to address it before they buy the property. Okay. This is it's not an Alta, but this is the survey I suggest everybody get. Okay. This survey is $800. And this was up at Gerald, I think. That's our typical cost for a lot survey, 800, between 750 and 850. Okay, depends on how far we have to travel.
Is it that survey?
Yeah, the plat survey, yeah. And if it's in Washington Union and a subdivision plat, you're down to $750 because we know the corners are going to be there. We don't have to go back and set anything, and it goes pretty quick. Okay. And then let's get to the surveyor's real property report, our spot survey. The state does not allow us anywhere on here to call this a survey. Okay. There's no, the word survey is not on here. If you read the certification, it says you can't put a fence up, you can't build a building, you can't do nothing. This is a POS.
Oh.
Okay, It costs $450. If you look at it, all we did is locate the house. There was decks, there was sidewalks, there were driveways, there were everything on here. But this is only good for the bank. And I think the bankers will tell you the same thing. The title company will ensure to the bank that, yeah, the house is on the property. That's really all the bank cares about. Where's the money at? Nothing for the owner. They give us $450 and they get nothing. Give the extra $300 or $400 and get something that's real, that you can look at your corners, that you can put up a fence, that you can put up a shed. In my opinion, we love doing these. We can do 4 or 5 of them a day. You know, and I like signing them. If you look at certification, I'm telling you, I didn't do a thing. I can't get sued. So, love them. But I don't like them because people come back and said, you did me a survey. And then I have to explain to the person I've never talked to before, no, I didn't. You have nothing. They go, well, what do I gotta do to get a survey? Like, that's give me another $400. So most of them do that, but we have to go back to the site and then locate all the improvements at all the corners and everything. So I always suggest doing the flat survey.
Surveys for the report is the TOS.
Yes. Yeah, it's called a spot survey, but the Surveyors Association said, no, it doesn't have anything to do with survey. About 10 years ago, we wanted to give this away to the realtors. Because you can go out with a tape measure. A lot of companies go out with a tape measure and do it. They'll mow off, surveying company will measure off a mow line, a grass line, a fence line. So that's how accurate it is. It's terrible. We would like to get rid of it as an association, but it does its purpose. So we keep it. And that was the 3 here, okay? And if you read here, it actually kind of explains what everything is. I did them backwards. Sorry about that. It explains what everything is, and feel free to copy this and hand it to your client, which one of these do you want. I'm happy to talk to your clients. Everybody wants to call, I talk. I like to talk. So, and if you ever have a question about a survey, hey, I got a survey here. I will go to there's a website, which I forgot to include in this package, but the state has a website where all the surveys are recorded. Now, not all the surveys, okay? It's common for your county surveyor to record every survey he does. All your plats are recorded. All your land divisions are recorded. And they're recorded at the county, but the state then every couple months comes through every county in the state, or it's sent to them, and then they put it in a repository. So anywhere you're at, you can go to the section, township and range, and you can look at all the surveys that are recorded, and then you can look at the ones that are highlighted in blue. The other ones you can't look at, but you get those copies for $1, and they send them to you immediately. You download them, you gotta have a credit card. You download them, and you get them when you're done. It costs $1.25 to download one. It costs $1.25 to download 30. So in other words, with one, you'll have $2.25. With 30, you'll have $31.25. So there is a initial fee of $1.25.
What's that website?
It's on the Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
And you go to Department of Agriculture, that'd be Mo Department. And then you go to weights and measures, which of course measures that surveying, so it kind of triggers you. You go to that, and then it will have the land survey division, and it'll be called the repository. You know, if you've got any questions when you open it up, or if you want me to send you, I'm going to send it to the bank if they want it. But if you want me to send you the link, we have links that we go to, and then you'll just follow. It'll ask you for the township, range, direction, east or west, and then your section. And it's cheaper than going to the county. County gets $5 for a copy. They get $1.25, $2. So, and you get it immediately. Nothing against the county, but you get it. It's a great site. And the last one I included in here was a subdivision plat. These right now in the county cost about $2,200 for us to do. It's a division of land. Okay? This one had 5.43 and 3.87. Okay, they cost more because it is a full survey, and usually it's not a lot already, okay? It's 10 acres or so. It's got to be over 6 in the county to make it 2 3-acre parcels, okay, unless you're on a sewer and water system. So, but if you look at it, there's a lot more verbiage on here. The owner's got to sign it. This has to be recorded. This has to go through the county, okay? When you start this, you send the county a sketch plan. It'll take them up to 3 weeks to get a reply back. Okay, so in other words, you come in, it'll take me 2 weeks to get to it, 3 weeks to the county, that's 5 weeks right there. They send it back with their comments. We send back, address their comments and send it back, okay? And then they got 3 weeks again. So now all of a sudden we're into it 8 to 9 weeks. Okay? So then we address their comments, now we're into it 10 weeks. We get it back to them, they can address it one more time. And then we get it signed. So you're looking at the fastest you get this done is 2.5 to 3 months. So if anybody says, hey, I want to list my property, but I want to keep 3 acres with the house, you're looking at 3 months. And then the fees are about $150 that we include that into the total cost. And then at our office, we will actually include preparing the deed for you. We work with an attorney. And of course, for lot 1 here, they're going to need a deed. So we'll get with the attorney. The attorney will draw up the deed and get it back to us. You'll come to our office and sign it, and then take it over and get it recorded. And he charges $125 to do that, which is very cheap. So normal attorneys are $250 to $300. So, but we send him a bunch of them. He takes care of them. He's going to take 2 to 3 weeks. So before you can sell the property, you're looking at 4 months. So it's just a long process. And it's not necessarily the surveyors, it's just the process. So Franklin County, Franklin County, you can't divide under 3 acres. It's got to be 3 acres or above unless you have water and sewer. I think the Praco has water and sewer. So you can go down to as small as you want. So you want to remember that anybody that says, hey, go ahead.
What does the attorney actually do? You describe the property and what does.
We're not allowed to prepare the actual deed. In other words, the wheretofores and, you know, for the sum of the amount, he has to prepare, you all seen deeds. He prepares the first page and the signature page and it inserts our legal description. We're not allowed to do that. Attorneys have to do that.
But if you're selling a property, would the title company not do that?
I found out, no. They would, the title company attorney says, no, we won't prepare the deed. They will prepare the deed if it's an existing parcel. In other words, if they can just take that, what I found out, that a lot of times they don't, or basically it's been no. I said, go to the title company, they'll prepare it. And the owner sometimes says, no, they won't. So we just go to Brandon and have him do it. But the title company is going to charge you too. But it's not free.
Yeah, but it would be faster.
It could be. Yeah, it could be, yes, yes. I wish that, in our experience, I wish the title company would, because I send the title company the survey and the legal description in Word format. So it'd be great if they would prepare it, but I found out that no, they don't. My experience. But they do prepare the deed of transfer. In other words, if you're buying lot 1 of John Doe subdivision, that's already, somebody owns it already, so all they have to do is, you know, prepare it from this to there. I think they do that.
Oh, yeah, they do that.
Yeah, but in my experience, no, they haven't. And if they do, that's good. I'm just saying it's something we offer. We don't make a dime on it. We don't add any extra costs. We don't, anything we pass through is at cost. But those are the 4 kinds of surveys. And then I did include in the packet the rules that, okay, I think this will have a website on it. Okay, this is what surveyors have to follow. These are the rules. So, if you want to check a survey, which I don't know why you want to, you know, most people are just looking for the surveyor's signature, and that's cool. I understand. But this is what the surveyors have to follow. If you have a client call you and say, hey, my property corners aren't yet. You have a right to call that surveyor and say, hey, where's our property corners? And they have a right to call that surveyor and say, where's the property corners? Because if you did a plat of survey or boundary survey, the surveyor is certified that he did everything stated in here, and one of them is making sure all the corners are in. Okay. So that needs to be done. I've heard that.
Somebody else removed that.
Yeah, and when we do a survey, we are tied into state plain coordinates. I don't know if you can see it on this subdivision. If you look at the subdivision plat, BFA ties everything in state plain coordinates. So if you have a handheld phone, handheld GPS, you can actually type that northeast coordinate and walk to the corner. On big surveys, it's huge because people say, hey, I want to walk my property line. I explain to them what they need to do, okay? And then they can actually type it in, they can walk down their property line and they're following on their phone. So it saves them $100 an hour for us to stake it, because we don't stake every 100 feet on property lines unless they want us to. But on all of our surveys, we'll have that. And we'll even send it to the owner so he can download it into his phone.
Is that an app?
I don't have it.
Can you
Where
point
is
to
it
what
on
you're
there?
talking
Where is
about?
it on this?
If
Probably
you-
isn't on there.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you look at Gillian,
Uh-huh,
at the corners, you'll see found iron rod, and then you'll see a north and an east.
Okay.
And that is tied in the state plain coordinates. It's just something we do. I don't think it's done on a regular basis by other companies, but we've got them, so why not put them on there and show
Yeah.
them? We're
So
not,
how does that direct you then along the property?
well, you'll have to put two of them in. You'll have to have an initial point and a heading. Okay, so you'll put this one in and this one in,
Put the other one in.
walk right along the line.
Okay.
Another app all of our surveyors have on their phone is On Hunt. ONHUNT. Might be good for realtors. You download, I think it's $6.
Is that Hunt's Lane? Or-
Same thing. There's a lot of apps that you can actually pull it up and it will tell you, we actually have one that you watch yourself walk. Okay, and you can, okay, here's where the corner is supposed to be. It'll get you within 10 to 15 feet of a property corner. But if you're on a 50, 100 acre parcel and there's not fence lines, you're trying to find out where it's at, you can walk right to it and then you just take out your metal detector and start looking, but it's a real good app. If people want to know where their property lines, and we always tell them, this is per my handheld GPS or it's On Hunt. This is not accurate, but you can get within 5 or 10 feet. And it's really nice. And it helps us a lot, like I said. All of our field people have it, just so you know, our field people are our people that draw it up. The guy that went out and did this, he drew it all up. There's no mistake there. Because he's been on site, he knows what everything's out there, he knows it. Which is good. I think a lot of companies do that, but we definitely. But you got the standards, and then I gave you the 2021 Alta standards. This is if you're in commercial or if you want an Alta survey. This tells you everything that should be on an Alta survey. In other words, if your commercial client says, what kind of survey do I need? You go to this, you say you need an Alta survey because you want to know what this property is about. You want to know if there's easements that affect it. And I'll tell you right now, on 99% of the Altas, we will remove 25 to 30% of the B2 exceptions. Okay, so then now that exception doesn't affect the property, so it gets taken off. So now it is insured against. But then on the back of this Alta, these pages, it's got a table A. These are additional that the client can say, we want these. Okay, and they can pick and choose which ones they want. Of course, the more they choose, the higher price the Alta is going to be because it's more. So
Three changes.
I think it's on page 9. And most clients will pick all of them. Why not? It doesn't add that much. We're out there. Some of them, you gotta have, well, you have to have title work to do an Alta survey. Can't do an Alta without title work. So, a lot of people don't understand that. They want an Alta survey. I know I've been going round and round with the title companies where they want all the B2 exceptions commented on. I said, that's not the survey. They go, well, I don't care. Okay. US title, Hillsborough, they go, this is underwriter. We know we're not supposed to do this. So if you'll see any estimate from me, there'll be a little note on there that if you want the B2 exceptions commented on, it's gonna cost you $50 a pop. Because we gotta read the whole document. Then, of course, the title company's gotta send us the whole B2 exceptions, copies of every bit of it, and we read it from front to back. So,
And that alters mostly commercial.
also it's mostly commercial. Now, on a lot survey like this, they're gonna have maybe 2 exceptions. They'll have a early 1900 electric easement that covers a whole section. Okay, so we'll say, yeah, it's there, but we don't know where it's at. As it says, we have a right to put an electric line over the northwest quarter, because that's what this man owned. And we'll put on there, yeah, this property lies in the northwest quarter affects $50. So it's, but we still have to read it. That's the 3 different kinds of surveys. Again, we like doing surveyors with real property reports, not survey, but they're not good for your client. They're good for the bank. Okay. Don't suggest it to your client. Say that. I wouldn't suggest it to you. Because, you know, I've had them comment 6 months later, goes, oh, I want to build a fence. I don't want my property cars. Like, I don't either. You didn't get the survey that showed them. Well, that's what the bank said I needed. Okay, well, then you need to talk to your bank. And I don't think Citizens Bank suggests doing spot surveys. I don't know if any bank does. But of course, everybody tries to buy as much as they could buy as far as house. So another $800 for a survey might not fit into the budget. But $400 will be required. All new construction, I think, needs spot surveys. So it's one of these things that I don't blame the bank at all. I think they're doing their client, but at least we find 2 corners. If you get a spot survey where you don't see any corners found, it doesn't meet standards. So you have to find some monument.
Will a small lot in town cost as much as a 3-acre lot?
Usually not. That's another thing. I've got to go to the repository. I got to download it as the 3-acre lot. We had one, Tracy Langenberg, Citizens Bank. We had one over on Coal City Road. The legal description said 5 acres out of the northwest quarter is section 34. Oh, good, Tracy, that's a great one. What's going to cost $2,500? It's only 5 acres. You tell me where it's at. We don't know where it's at. That's why we're hiring you. I said, I don't know where it's at either. So, and you look at the aerial and terrible legal description. So you go out and you locate fence lines. You hope you find some property corners on this one. We didn't find a one, but the fence lines were there and it worked out. So you look at your legal description and then you could try to figure out, you don't really know what it costs, but yes, a 3-acre parcel in Franklin County, depends on if I gotta drive to Gerald, or we gotta drive, southeast, southwest. I'll add a little bit for time. I only add one way. Okay. In other words, the Union, St. Clair area, it's all pretty much the same. But once I get further than that, I take $85 an hour times one way. In other words, if it's an hour drive, I'll take $85 an hour times an hour. Because take an hour and a half, it's a half hour. We expect to drive a half hour to every site. So, but I will go to the repository. I'll ask for the legal description. I can look at a legal description, tell you if it's any good or not. If it's been surveyed. And I'll go to the repository. If I see a survey, I'll say, yeah, it's going to cost you $850. It could be a 10-acre parcel. It'd still be only $850 if it's been surveyed. But once you get up into 20, 30, 50, 100 acres, then it's different. And there's really no good. We always figured $25 an acre. That's not a good number. It just depends on what it is. So, if you're doing a 1,000-acre survey, it's not going to be $25,000. Okay. But if you're doing a 100-acre survey, it will be $2,500 to $3,500. It depends on if it's been surveyed before. So That's why I tell everybody who calls. I go, give me a day, I'll call you back, and I'll go to the repository and look. And if they have a legal, I can read the legal and see if it's been surveyed. Because a lot of them say to a iron pipe, to a stone, to the center line of the creek. So that's how I get my numbers.
What if you have a parcel, big or small, that hasn't been surveyed since 18 whatever, it doesn't have the corners you can't find? What's the process of finding your first corner, at least to start from?
We hope, and in Missouri, almost everything has been surveyed once, just so you know. It was done in 1815 in this area when they came and did the original surveys, okay? Everything's been surveyed once. We will go to the repository, we will hope that a survey around it's been done. Okay, and then what I do, I look at the survey, and it might be 2 parcels over. What did he find? Found iron rod, found stone, found old pipe. And I will look at that, and I'll say, he found all these corners. This guy over here found all these corners. There's got to be corners on this guy's parcel because somebody was out here surveying. So then we tell them what we think it's going to cost. We do not charge over. If I tell you it's going to cost $1, I don't charge you $1.09. And we will eat the difference if I miss the so, in other words, I'm not going to call you back up and say, hey, I got $5,000 for this $2,000 survey. You sign it, I'm going to send it out. I'm not going to be happy. Drink a lot of vodka that night. It's there it is, because that's what I told them.
So you would go off another surveyor's
Always.
survey?
Always.
Or-
Here's how the rules go as survey, okay? You have five, it's monumentation, okay? So in other words, the hierarchy, the highest monumentation finding, okay, the base surveys on is natural monuments, stream, a river, a bluff, a natural monument. Number 2 is artificial monuments, a pipe, a stone, a rod, a center line of the road, okay? Number 3 is direction, north 45 east. Okay. Number 4 is distance, 100 feet. Number 5 is area, 5 acres out of the northwest to the northwest, okay? You'll see a lot of surveys that find an iron pipe and call it 2 inches off, or find all 4 corners and call it 2 inches off. That surveyor should have his license taken away because he found all the original monuments. Now remember, we're just retracing stuff. Since 1850, all surveyor does is retrace stuff, unless we do something like this Gillian subdivision where we're resetting monuments. Okay, so we're retracing. And we have to use the monuments unless we can deem them not reliable. But when they're that far off, they're reliable. But if you as an owner, and I did that, you go out there with your fence post, ready to put up a fence, and you see something that says it's 2 foot off, but you didn't set another one because you're not allowed to set another one within 5 feet. And you're out here, goes, where do I put this fence post? You put it by the iron rod because that's where your corner is, because you can see it. Okay, so if you see surveyors that call something a foot off or 6 inches off, even I've had up to 100 feet off from the original surveys of 1850. I will use the monument because that's what the rules say. If anybody thinks that a section is 1 mile by 1 mile, they need to walk in our shoes for a day. There's not a section in the United States that is 5,280 feet by 5,280 feet. It ain't happening. Because they weren't that good. But if you find that original corner, it's gone. And it's accessory, so they'll have witness trees and stuff. If you find that, you can't mess with it. Even if it's 150 feet off, it's the corner. Okay. That's just kind of survey jargon. So make sure when you look at surveyor, you see it. If you see somebody calling something 2 inches off, St. Louis is really bad about this. Found iron rod, 0.02 east, 0.01 north. And they didn't use that rod. They didn't meet minimum standards. Run away from that surveyor.
What do you do if it's a stream and the stream changes its course?
When the stream, if that's a riparian rights question, okay, if you own to the center line of the stream, okay, all streams that are non-navigable, okay, and that would be, some of the Burbus is not navigable. Navigation means you can support commerce. With the canoeing in Missouri now, every stream can support commerce, okay? So, but like Bush Creek in Washington, we go to the center line. Yeah, it moves. So what we do is we locate the center line, and when we say center line as located on August 18, 2021, it can move back and forth. Okay. Now, on the Missouri River, it's the low water mark. On the Merrimack, Burbus, most places, Current, this is the low water mark because that came about if you're an upland landowner, you have to water your animals. So you can't have a gap between the water and your property. So the low water mark on navigable streams. How do you know if they're navigable? You call the Corps, they'll give you some kind of crap answer. Then, you know, if you can float a canoe on it, it's probably navigable. So, but yes, it can move. There's been instances in Missouri where this guy owns to here, this guy owns to here. It goes up to here, okay? All of this goes to this guy now. Okay? Yeah, and then it goes further. All of a sudden, the guy that owned from here to here owns nothing. Now the guy on the other side of him owns it. He lost all his ground.
Part of Illinois is on this side of the river. in
Yeah.
Missouri.
Well, the St. Joe Airport is in Kansas, but it's Missouri. So it's invulsion and reliction and accretion. So, and just so you know, a public entity, a railroad can't accrete ground. In other words, if the Missouri River, if the railroad was right on the Missouri River, and there was a big land, you know, over the 100 years came in, the upland landowners now own that. The railroad can't accrete, the city can't accrete, the township can't accrete, the county can't accrete. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So,
Like, their
Yeah.
property lines and tracks
Yeah.
move.
but railroads, one of these companies like the electric line, the gas line, they can just condemn. In other words, okay, my gas line's in the wrong spot. Okay, we're gonna condemn it. Here's some money. They aren't gonna move the gas line. Which it keeps our gas prices down, so. And we do, BFA does all the work for Spire Energy in the state of Missouri, so I'm very familiar with that. And they're getting they have us stake everything out now, so this doesn't happen. Because of course, when they condemn, it's a long process. They gotta go to the attorneys, judge. The judge could say, hey, you owe $100,000. They don't want that.
You're looking for corners, let's see if you can't find the rocks or rods or anything. Is there benchmarks you guys shoot off of to kind of triangulate that? or-
We'll work our way back in, or we always talk, carry extra rods and just drive them. You work your way back in. Missouri requires that we look at every deed around it. Okay, that's a requirement. So we'll have to download those deeds. Of course, we're working with the title company. We'll have the title company do that for us. But we will read every deed because we don't want a gap or a door. We don't want that, but we're lucky. We'll 99% of the time we find some corners to tie back into. Scary thing is with surveying is you don't know if I'm going to have to travel, you know, a mile this way to get something to pull back into this way. And then of course you're going to have ditching. I've already used fence lines. And I've already had the 3 property owners out there with me and said, you guys agree on this fence line because it's supposed to land 130 feet up there in the field. They go, this is good. I will then go to my survey, ask for a meeting with John, Joe, and Ray. They said this works perfectly legal. Perfectly legal. That's called parole evidence. And you know what? It makes everybody happy. Makes me happy.
I guess what I was fishing for is there's benchmarks out there. USGS had benchmarks on those surveys that take it off of that just because they couldn't find anything. So and there was even this company that survey had like 2 acres of undetermined ownership.
Get a new surveyor because there's no such
I
thing.
don't even like this survey.
There's no such thing. If you're surveyor, that's our job. We have to tell you who owns it. Okay, and a benchmark's different than a corner. Okay, a benchmark was set in 1988 was the last time they came through and ran benchmarks. Right now, no good surveyor doesn't have a GPS. They're more accurate than any benchmark you're ever going to tie into. Because if you've ever seen them run the benchmarks, they're in a pickup truck with a thing up here doing this, and they're in there drinking vodka. You know, and then they're running over, they're saying, we're the most accurate people because we're the government. Yeah. So every surveyor worth his salt has a GPS and they are super accurate. When it comes to floodplains, I'm gonna tell you right now, we're contemplating not doing elevation certificates anymore because the federal government, the new administration has said, we're not gonna really improve any loans, letter of map amendments. We want them people to pay us $5,000 a year for their insurance. We don't care if they can't afford it. The real estate, the agent that writes that contract, the insurance agent, from what I was told, gets between 75 and $100 a year for a $5,000 policy. You know who gets the rest? It's the biggest ripoff in American history. Because if we went to American Family and had them start doing this, your $5,000 policy would probably be $400. Because they know how to spend their money. They're not going to come out. I've had clubhouses on the gas grenade. Take $10,000 for it. I've seen over the last 10 years, these guys come in and get $40,000, $50,000, $35,000 for the last 3 floods. They just made, what is that, $125,000? They paid $10,000 for it. Because the adjuster is the federal government. American Family would come in and says, nah, it's $1,500 here, clean it up. That's what's happening. So, I mean, they're called a savings account up there on the gas grenade. And investment. So, but they did crack down. If you claim, I want to say, now don't quote me on this, I want to say if you claim 4 times in 10-year period, you no longer get insurance. What the hell do you care? You got $150,000.
Yeah.
So, you know, so yeah, thank you, government. But it's terrible, but there's nothing we can do. And then the government said, now we want to stop accepting loans. Letter back on that. That means they gave you a way to get out. Okay, we go out and do an elevation certificate, which I'm sure you all know if you are within the special flood hazard area, you most probably will have to have an elevation certificate before you close. Okay, those are costing you $500 in Franklin County if we do it. Because how far I got to drive. But you'll have to have that before you close. It's a series of pages and pictures, okay? And we tell you then how high your property, your structure, you can't insure a property, you can only insure a structure, is above the special base flood elevation in the special flood hazard area, okay? Because they're all pretty much determined, okay? The government says this is how high the 100-year flood's going to get. So we'll tell you if you're above it or below. If you're above it, the insurance is real cheap. You know, I always say if you're a foot above it, keep the insurance, because from what I found, it's about $400 a year. Okay, from talking to people, this is just hearsay. And if you're below it, or if you're above it, then we can do a letter of map amendment, which is another $500. So we can get your structure removed from the special flood hazard area where no insurance is required. Well, we got a letter from them a couple weeks ago that says, we're really not liking to remove anybody anymore. That's what it said. It was a bunch of mumble junk. So we sent a letter back, says, this is your job, get it done, we got them out. But they've been told now, and it's a firm like my firm, working for the government, but the government has told them, no, we need this money. These are homeowners, they ought to be able to afford it. We've got to give it to the people that don't own a home. That's my opinion. So, but they're getting tougher, and it's not much fun doing it. Used to be fun, easy. I got a guy that loved doing them. But we will continue to do elevation certificates because that's cut and dry. I don't have to mess with the government. I mess with the agent and the bank. So we'll continue to do those.
Sounds like an issue for the back.
They really got to check that. Like, a buddy of mine's in insurance, one of his clients was put in floodplain. He's 800 foot above sea level on a hill. It's a map overlay put in by the government. He fit in the aerial, and they said you need, even though it floods, we're all screwed.
CoreLogic is one of the people that we work with. I don't like CoreLogic. They're a flood determination company. Now remember, they only get $18 to send you that letter. Okay, so how much research are they going to do for $18? They look at the map, they see your house. If you're a regular lot, it's this big on that map. Okay? Yep, they're in. Okay. So that's when you get a hold of us and we see if you're in or out. I will tell you on the phone if I think you're above it, because I take my Google Earth, I do a little more work than CoreLogic does. Now, American Flood Relief will go a little further, okay? We've had CoreLogic put a 125-acre property, okay? Here's the house, 800 feet high. Here's the elevation of the stream down here at 400. They're in. They're in. So they have to spend $500 now, because CoreLogic said they're in. American Flood Relief will go the other way. I know some banks use certain things, that's what they have to do. Okay, but they're not doing anything for you, only $18. So, and you have to pay it. It's right there on your closing statement. It says flood determination letter. I don't know if it's $18 anymore now, but it's pretty cheap. So, bank would know. And, it's just all part of it. And we've got issues here because we have a lot of streams. We got a lot of flood area. Merrimack, Purvis, Missouri River. Also, if they're in a special flood hazard area, as indicated on the maps, they say that's unbuildable. No, that's not so. You can build in a special flood hazard area, you just gotta follow the rules. You know, you just gotta get a flood development permit. You can do that probably yourself. And then you just gotta follow the rules. So just because it's in the special flood hazard area, it doesn't necessarily decrease the value of the ground. You know, some people say that's floodplain, ain't worth nothing. So make sure you get everything that your client is worth and you get your 6%. So, you know, and you can build at you can even build in a floodway, it just takes an engineer to help you there. Nothing is insurmountable with the FEMA. Any questions? Y'all got my card? Don't hesitate to call, email, use my cell phone. I will answer it at midnight. If you leave a message, because if you call me, I'm gonna call you back. Yeah.
Frequently, in a small house in town, you're asking the client if they want the survey, they don't see any reason why they would need one, this little lot in town. What would you say to them?
I would say if they don't care where their property lines and they're happy with what they see,
Yeah.
don't get it. We, up till about 6 months ago, we used to go out and find property corners for people. Okay, I didn't certify to any of it. I said, look, it's gonna cost you $100 an hour, probably gonna cost you $100 in town. Those people are the most nasty people I've ever met in my life. I said, it's gonna be 6 weeks. I go, we do this on a as going there basis. We're driving by, well, I had a lady call me every day
Oh, gosh.
to find her corners. I said I was gonna do it for free because we were there. I said, when we go there, we'll just find your corners for free. Every day she called me. I have these people for $100 will call me every other day. And I actually told one, I'm done with you. Don't call me again. I'm not doing it. And from then on, I got a guy in the office that does it in the evenings and weekends, okay? But if we just find your corners, I certify it to them. Yep, this looks good. The mow line goes to it, the fence goes to it. But I'm not guaranteeing it. If you do a survey, I guarantee where your property lines are, and I will go to court. If it goes to court, I'm gonna charge you more because I gotta go to court. But we have never had, we've been in business 53 years, we've never been sued over a survey. Do it right, and everybody will follow. Yeah, no reason to have a survey if they're happy with what they see. But then it always happens 5 years down the road. My neighbor had a survey, and I don't believe it. I go, send me a copy of the survey. If I see found iron rod, found iron rod, found iron rod, I go, it's right.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do for you. I'll come on, I'll charge you $800 to do it, but I'm gonna agree with this guy.
Yeah.
Now, if I see a problem, then I will let them know. But don't get a surveyor's real property report. But if they don't want it, they don't think they need it, I wouldn't do it. Now, kind of you guys individually, you came to the meeting, if you want some property corners found, we'll probably do it for you. But don't bug me.
Don't call midnight either.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna call me and I leave a message, I will call you back. If you're not at my phone,
Or at least 5 enough for drinks.
Vodka does a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I need a ride.
but I appreciate you having me.
Williams.
Thank you.
And, all my numbers are on there. If you have a question about a survey, say, hey, can you look up, I want to see if there's a survey in this property, call me, email me. It might take me a day, usually I reply back in a day or I'll answer the phone. I'll go right to the repository, I'll download the stuff. We've got a pretty extensive library because we save it when we download it now. So we've got a pretty extensive library. Sometimes I can just go to our library and it's free, I already got it. I'll run through them real quick and say, yeah, there's a survey, here you go.
Thanks,
Thank
All
you
right,
very
thanks a lot.
much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time.
So don't get up and race out quite yet, everybody.
It depends on, again, I say 4 to 6 weeks.
No, I didn't.
If it's an
I just-
emergency,
Do I?
and I expect you to come back after I do your emergency for another survey or another survey, we'll take care of it. Citizens Bank, they got an emergency, they call me today, say, I gotta have it done by Friday, it'll be done by Friday. Back in Washington, title companies, I'll get it done that fast. Of course, everybody in front of you gets moved back. And it depends on the extent of the survey. So I had a guy call me yesterday, he's doing construction, he needs to put a pipe in. He doesn't know it should be 36, oh, it's 60. Called me yesterday, good friend. And he calls me this morning, he goes, you got that done yet? It's a drainage guy, I go, hey, Larry, not even a day.
Specific, I guess.
No, I always say 4 to 6 weeks,
That's cool.
2 to 3 weeks, it's an emergency, of course, we'll take care of it. But you should expect, and I hate when you guys move up close, I understand you want your money.
Make this
Understand.
sound like you did it.
But when you say you're gonna close in 6 weeks, I'll get it to you within 4 to 5 weeks, but also, oh, we moved closing up 3 weeks. Well, that's good, because the survey might not get moved up. You know, and I understand, you know, depends on how nice you are to be on the phone. And honest God, that's a fact.
Show up.
What kind of alcohol is it?
I drink Grey Goose. So actually go to Sam's, Members Mark is Grey Goose. It's $14.50.
I don't have the real stuff.
So,
It
but
never works anymore.
it just, if you're a client, if you've done work with us before, I can really take it.
I just use.
And Cindy has.
I got my passport mark for $100 twice.
Yeah.
Right.
They keep falling, people take them. Okay.
Property on the go.
And I'm trying to do all that landscaping on the side. so I
Home
have to
step
do-
tell you.
Ladies,
From Stapleton.
So one more question. When you subdivide, you said 2,200. Let's say someone's subdividing into 5 lots. Is
Usually
that
2,200.
each,
No,
each? No.
no. You can't go over 6 in Franklin County without sewer and water,
Okay.
or have a major subdivision where you gotta put in hard surface roads and everything. Usually it's about the same because it's just drawing.
Okay.
The hard part is to establish the boundary and then get it to you so you can break it up, and then it doesn't add that much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about the same.
thanks again, Mark. Hey, everybody, got a few things real quick and then we'll let you go back about the business. I want to thank everybody for coming here today. Our nominations for 2022 are currently open. There's an email that went out. Amanda has that. A few dates to keep in mind for those that are interested or just want something cool to happen. Union Pacific Big Boy 4014 is going to be rolling through our area on August 30th. Pacific will be there at 10:15. Washington will be there at 11:30, and Herman at 1:15. It's a great way to go out and see part of our rail history and heritage. Affiliate Night, which is most of you in here. Affiliate Night is September 1st at Front Street Cellars in Washington. September 10th is our annual golf tournament. I want to thank all those affiliates here that have already been whole sponsors. It really helps the event be successful and raise money for our philanthropic endeavors. I had lots, I would be able to say that.
Right? I believe that's also Sarah Frederick's birthday,
But,
September 10th.
yeah,
Yeah, I think so. Isn't that your birthday?
September 10th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll be in Yellowstone.
There you go. September 22nd is election night out at the White Mule. That's always a fun time. September 25th is the RPAC fishing tournament. If you haven't given to the Realtor Political Action Group, there's still time to do so. $100 will get you invited to the $100 RPAC night over at Bob Workman's house. It's a lot of fun, a lot of booze, a lot of food, a lot of BS that goes on. It's a good time. But the fishing tournament's awesome. It's a good time out at Bob's farm. Weather's normally pretty good, a lot of fun. And then September 29th through October 1st is the September Business Conference for the state in Kansas City. If you guys are interested in getting more involved with the state, there's that. For our realtors, I want to encourage everybody, if you haven't done so yet, to check out Commitment to Excellence, the C2EX. It's an online course that you can do, help build better realtors.
out there, because we all know that you take the schooling, you get the test, you get your license, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a great realtor. Sometimes you forget about things like what riparian rights and erosion and emulsion there. So, but not to pick on Becky because she's not here, but that's, you know, it's a good way to continue to maintain your professionalism. Also, Fairhaven is another online course talking about diversity within the profession, as well as, you know, just kind of thinking things out that we probably don't think about always. Good example, I took it and I'm all right, did pretty good. Derek took it. He had a couple of stumbling blocks, he said, and he actually opened his eyes, which I say that's funny because I think reputations that I would be the more closed-minded rough guy. Derek would be the more open-minded liberal guy. But you never know, you can't judge the books by the covers. Some of this I just told you on TV.
Does any of that count for continuing that?
No.
C2EX is not, Fairhaven is not. I know NAR has it's a big push out there to get those done. Because especially with fair housing and real estate, we know how long that's been a struggle since it was passed in '64. And even today, there's still issues subconsciously and whatnot. So it's just a good thing. And then C2EX, if you take it, it really will kind of sharpen a few skills and just bring those things back. Just like, even though we've heard surveyors talk before, having Mark come in today refreshes those thoughts. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot this how it goes. I even had to take some notes because I hate the difference between, you know, stake survey. The terminology is different whoever you're talking to. So stake survey or surveyor's room report or this or that. So same kind of thing. C2EX will kind of refresh those. Then I'm gonna give you a warning. I am going to soapbox just for a second. I have a plea, for lack of a better term. So today we had 7 affiliates in attendance and 5 realtors, 6 counting me. When I was on Facebook, so far I was the only one that liked it, even though there's probably others there now. I appreciate all of the affiliates coming. It seems lately that we get just as many affiliates, if not more, attending our events than our realtors. What I would ask is, the affiliates that are here do participate quite a bit, you know, talk with our realtor partners and say, hey, we were at this great thing and it was fun, a breakfast of champions or the bowling or whatever, and encourage more of the agents to come. And those fellow realtors that are here, I'd ask the same thing. Any broker that may go and watch this video later, you know, it's important to get our agents in here. I know it's a crazy market. It's a wild, wild west out there. I'm almost, some days I wish it was back, you know, 2010, because at least we had stuff to sell. You know, the banks don't wish it was that because they got too much stuff on the books. But if we can encourage our fellow members to attend these things, we're really here for services. Amanda is constantly putting different information out on Facebook. I love the birthdays. I think that's the most simplest thing you can do is wish somebody a happy birthday. But I also like all the trainings. And yeah, it's overload sometimes, but I don't even know what goes on at NAR sometimes. And so having those trainings and those reminders on Facebook is good. So again, there's my little plea to you guys, because we're all in this together. I really don't want this to be the Franklin County Board of Realtor Affiliates. I love seeing all you affiliates. And I'm glad the affiliates have gotten more involved. I'm glad that we've restructured over the years and have more committees. It's valuable knowledge and input. But really, we're here for our members, and if you guys can help shake the bushes and get a few more out, I would greatly appreciate it. And so will our incoming president, Steve Leaker. He's going to be driving the bus next year. I just get to sit on the sidelines and watch. So I'm happy about that. That being said, is there any questions about the upcoming events? Is there installation? Oh yeah, installation is going to be coming up. Our 75th anniversary. We have items on the table, but it's going to be in Elijah's. If you haven't already signed up, we started signing up for installation.
Yeah.
You haven't started reserving
Sign
the
up
spots.
sponsorships. You have until the end of this month to sign up for $35. for September, if you sign up, it's $50 a person. We have to have everyone signed up by the end of September. Otherwise, they don't get to eat.
Did you put it down?
But there'll be plenty of drinking to do, so it depends if you like food or just alcohol.
Yeah.
So,
When's the date of that?
November 5th.
November
It
5th.
starts at 5, so 5 to 6 is gonna be happy hour kind of thing. 6 to 7 will eat-ish. And then 7 to probably 8:30 we'll do some speakers and cool stuff. We're trying to get some cool speakers from around the state. And then after that, we can do some music. It's gonna be outside in the tent at Elijah's.
Really?
So, yeah, it'll be pretty great. And it's our 75th anniversary, so we're trying to really take it up a notch this year.
December. Yeah, December 11th.
So, the board's running smoothly. We actually had nothing to discuss this month, so we had no meeting. But Amanda and I did attend a diversity summit put on by the state last Monday. Can't believe it's already been a week, which was very interesting.
I remember seeing you there.
Were you there?
Yeah.
We were
I
there.
sat with Bob.
I just keep.
That's right, you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we were like 2 tables over.
So you're,
We were there.
you're.
Yeah.
I said, I
December
don't
11th.
know how they could stretch fair housing into a 6-hour course.
Well, I don't know
I
either.
mean, after we just attended the 2-hour fair housing.
I'll tell you, I had a much better, I said it when I stood up there, I had a much better conversation on diversity and other topics at the cigar bar, talking with Hank and Ernest and all those guys, than sitting in that, and Nate,
That hot room.
and sitting in that hot room the
With
first
no air
day.
conditioning.
Uh,
Big tank with huge.
But it was good.
No air.
And so,
So will you invoice them?
is that,
Thank you.
I don't think there's anything else on the board's horizon. I know we have been discussing the possibility of relocation and evaluating the pros and cons of that, as opposed to staying in this location here. That's still kind of on the radar. We're looking at 2022, how those events are going to start panning out there. Financially, we're in a good position. Be good stewards of the board's money. And does anybody have any questions or concerns that we can address as the board or take back to the BOD? Nothing's too small, nothing's too big. All right, well, if everybody seems to be happy, I appreciate you guys coming out and we'll talk to you again soon.